Welcome back to Tailgate Talk with the boys. Alabama's heading to the SEC Championship. Washington survives strong Utah performance. Bowers returns, and Georgia dominates. Texas survives TCU comeback. Cove dodges an Eastside Spartans bullet. Twin Springs wins overtime thriller. Boys, let's get into it. I do have some breaking news. Sean has been kidnapped by the Tazewell Bulldogs, I believe. Actually, our little buddy, he's had it rough the last couple of weeks. He had the funeral last week, and then this week he's sick and everything. So y'all keep him in your prayers. But we do have a special guest with us today, and we got Coach Gary Collier with us. Coach, welcome to the Tailgate Talk podcast, buddy. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate you having me.
All right, buddy. We're going to run through some college stuff, and we'll get through the interview right here in a minute.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Let me get over here to my notes. First up, we got Alabama at Kentucky. I think Milroe's he's the first player in Alabama history to throw for 3 touchdown passes and run for 3 touchdowns. So he had himself a pretty good game, man. I think Alabama's starting to look pretty good. This is actually Nick Saban is having to do some coaching this year, isn't he?
Yeah, man. I believe if Sean was here, he'd be talking it up on Milroe right now.
Oh, yeah, he loves Milroe. Did you get to watch this game, Coach?
No, I didn't get to watch any of it.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, they're starting to. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win this SEC championship, man.
Yeah, they play that way every year. They're playing the right time of the year.
Yeah, and if they win, they get in. So
you know, we was saying they barely get by. They barely get by, and it's going to bite them. But now they're really starting to turn it on. It's, you know, they're starting to put teams away now. So
yeah, it's all about playing your best football at the right time, for sure. Man. Missouri dominates Tennessee. Cody Schrader was unstoppable in this game, man. I'm telling you. He had over 200 yards rushing, over 100 yards receiving. And my take on this one, Missouri was just way too physical for Tennessee, and they didn't want no more of it. I mean, you know, the results speaks for itself.
Man, I thought when Kentucky come out, I thought they was going to run the ball against Tennessee like that, but Tennessee shut them down, and then to see Missouri come out and really put it on them like that was something else.
Yeah, man. Coach, you got anything on that one?
No, Missouri's just playing well, too. They're a tough football team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. Well, this next one right here, Georgia Ole Miss, I really felt like Ole Miss would give them – I really felt like it was going to be a lot tighter ball game, but it wasn't. Bowers returns. I don't think he really had a big impact in the game as far as, you know, catching the ball and that way. But, I mean, his presence was definitely known. I mean, you had safeties following him around and leaving guys open. So, I mean, you know, Carson Beck had an awesome game. He was 18 of 25 for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, you know, I think their running game's starting to get back. You know, I felt like Ole Miss would be able to run the football better than what they did in this game. But this is the Georgia we need to see moving forward, I think, if they are going to have a shot at it. I mean.
Yeah, and with him coming back and you got 2 extra guys trying to shut him down, you're going to leave people wide open. And that's a big impact to me in the game.
Yep. Utah, Washington. My favorite quarterback in college football right here. Penix, man. He was 24 of 42, 322 yards, 2 touchdowns. The first half I felt like was a track meet, you know, and then I really didn't see Utah putting up as many points as they did, but Barnes had a pretty good game as well. I mean, they was right there. Just felt like it kind of slowed down after that first half a little bit because it looked like it was going to be a track meet to the end, like what we're used to seeing out there in the back.
Utah's played some pretty good ball, but, man, here lately they run into Oregon and and Oregon's defense absolutely showed up in that game, and now they've run into one of the probably best offenses in the league right there. Best, we know best quarterback in the league probably, and yeah, they've lost
One of, at least one of.
yeah, they've lost at least 2 tough games, and it's going to be exciting to see how they recover.
Yep. Florida State, Miami. First off, I thought Miami's a pretty good team. They really are. People's probably going to disagree with me, because they're 6-4. But I mean, they're really. I think they're really close to breaking through. Florida State it was a gutsy performance by them. I think the opening possession of the third quarter, they decided to go for an onside kick. Of course, the Miami's player, man, he goes up and makes a great play there, and Miami gets a short field, and they have to settle for a field goal, and that made it. I think it was 13-10 at that point, wasn't it? And then middle of the third quarter, they was out. I felt like they was kind of really outplaying Florida State, and it was just like something clicked, and Miami couldn't even run the ball at that point no more. They couldn't even find space, get separation in the passing game, other than they had one long catch there. But other than that, they couldn't even get separation. It was a good defensive performance from that point on for Florida State, and they held on to win this game. It was
I think that's what we always talk about. That's when great teams, push it to win, and that's what Florida State done. They overcome it, even though Miami was putting it on them, and they turned it on there at the end to get it back.
Yeah, the game was a lot closer than I thought it'd be too. I thought Florida State run away with it. Looks like Miami's getting back to their old ways of the old Miami.
Yeah, just like I say, I just think they're right there. They're almost ready to make this breakthrough. If you think back 2-3 years ago, Florida State was in this same position, really.
Oh, yeah. And I think the ACC this year, I think it's more balanced out. You don't have just 2 dominant teams.
Not now. You have one. It was more competitive, but right now Florida State's it. That's all you got.
Oh yeah.
But Miami, I think they're getting there. They're ready. Maybe next year's the year that they break through and have that season that we're expecting to see Miami have. Oregon USC, Knicks was 23 of 31 for 412 yards and 4 touchdowns. To me, the game didn't really seem as competitive as it was, really. USC had some moments where they did some good things, I think, but Bo Nix was just so proficient once again, defensively USC battled. It just wasn't enough. Again, like I said, before USC is a 7-5 football team, arguably with the best quarterback in college football, man. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and they're like Utah. They've hit a couple hard teams right there. I just want to see Oregon and Washington go back at it in the championship. I think that's going to be a game to watch.
Do you feel like that the performance of the team overall, do you feel like it's really messing with his stock, for the NFL? Is it driving it down or what?
His numbers are still good.
Yeah, his numbers are still good. But some people are saying that it's going to hurt him in the draft, so I don't know.
I like him.
He's good. He's a good football player.
Yeah.
But I felt like they were 7-5 with him or without him, really. Once they lost that first game, I was like, man, they're in trouble. Yeah. Texas TCU. Evers was 22 for 33, 317 yards. Had a touchdown and an interception. I don't know about y'all, but I just feel like Texas is so frustrating to watch. Man, I mean, they're so good. I just wish they would play a whole 60 minutes of football.
One week they'll come out and blow you away, and next week you'll say, "What the world?"
Yeah. Well, they was up 26-6 in this game, man, and scored 3 points in the second half. That's all they got.
When they're clicking, they look like one of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah, and then, I mean, this Birmingham game, this ended up being a 29-26 football game. You know, I don't know about them. It's just crazy. I mean, I just felt like they would probably be one of the ones that you could really probably pull for through the national championship, and I'm beginning to wonder if they can put 60 minutes together. You know, I think they can. Like if they can play the game they played Alabama, that's the game they got to start playing all the time.
Yeah, and I've had them at my number 5, but after it's hard to say. Yeah, they're still number 5, but
yeah,
I like them.
I think Jimbo got canned today, didn't he?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised it didn't happen before now because they've been trying to get him gone for like 3 or 4 weeks now. All right, that's all we got on the college rundown. We got some college picks coming up for this week. First up, there's really not many good football games this week in college football. They're falling back into their cupcake games here. But up first, we got Rutgers and Penn State. Currently, we'll start with you.
Man, Rutgers, they not got that good of a record, and I think Penn State's lost some close, hard-fought ball games, and I believe Penn State will take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even think it'll be close, to be honest with you. Penn State's playing pretty well.
I love their defense. I hate their offense. But, yeah, I'm going Penn State in this one as well. I think this one right here is going to be a pretty good game. North Carolina, Clemson. Coach, let's start with you this time.
You know, I'm a North Carolina fan, and I believe they're playing pretty well. Don't really know what's happened to Clemson. Fell off from what they usually are, but I'm going North Carolina.
I think North Carolina knows how to pull them off. You know, they pulled some close ones out. Double overtime with Duke last week. Went for the 2-point conversion to pull the win off. I got to go North Carolina.
Well, boys, I'm sorry, but I feel like Clemson's going to give us the same performance they did against Notre Dame, and I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers in this one. I'm not sure that Dabo's completely done yet. But Kansas State, Kansas.
You're just buying in on that cheap stock market, ain't you?
Well, you know.
He said, buy all you can now, wasn't it?
That's right. Whatever pays the bills, man.
Yeah, man.
Kansas State, Kansas.
I like Kansas. I got to go Kansas in this one.
Coach?
I'm with him. I'm with him all the way, Kansas.
I'm going to go Kansas, too. Y'all made me want to go the other way.
We tried to bait you into that.
Yeah. I get this now. I see how it's going here. Baylor, TCU. This one right here, buddy, could be like, it could be a pretty good game right here.
I thought you said there wasn't any good games this week.
Well, there's a few of them. Most of them are playing like Jackson State and stuff like that.
We'll let you go first on this one.
I think I'm going to go with TCU on it myself.
Daggone it.
Yeah. I just like the horn side.
Both of them has had a pretty rough year this year, but after what TCU's done to Texas, I got to go TCU in this one.
Was it what TCU done to Texas or what Texas done to themselves?
Maybe been a little self-inflicted wounds.
Well, maybe Texas just needs to put 60 minutes together.
I figured this one you could pull the coin out and toss it on this one, but I believe TCU will pull it out.
That's who I got, Coach.
Well, I don't have it. I'm going Baylor.
Oh, son.
Yes.
Going with the Bars.
The Bears.
Yeah. Utah, Arizona. I'm going Utah on this one. I think, nah, I'm going Arizona. I'm going Arizona, man. I don't know. I might choose them in my parlay, but not on the podcast.
I believe Utah's going to get it back. I'm going Utah on this one.
I'm going Utah because of their strength of schedule.
And they got a good defense. I will give them that. They play in defense. UCLA, USC.
USC all the way.
I second that.
Both of you going USC?
Yes.
So you're telling me. See, what is USC right now?
What are they, 7-4 or 7-3?
I don't even know if they got the 7. Yeah, they were 7 wins. And I said they'd be 7-5.
It ain't going to happen.
Let's go UCLA.
All right.
Let's make it happen.
Steak dinner.
If you want to buy me a steak dinner, I'll take it, baby. You already owe me one.
It's your Burger King.
UCLA, we just done that one. Duke and Virginia.
I'm going Duke.
Man, Virginia, they kind of remind me of Eastside. They just ain't found a way to win and, put the final staple in it. And I got to go Duke in this one.
Man, I think Virginia right now is playing some pretty good football. And, I think they're playing with a lot of passion. And a team that's playing with a lot of passion is really tough to beat. And I'm going to go Virginia with the upset in this one.
They played Louisville tough.
If you had compared them to Eastside, I may have picked them too after last week.
That's just the way I feel. Like Virginia just, man, they've been there, and they just can't get over it. They've been in a lot of close ball games this year.
They're playing with a lot of passion.
Yeah.
So you're going Duke.
I'm going Duke. I'm going to stick with it.
Can't believe it, boys. I can't get you in Zalline. Kermit, I put this on there for you, big guy. NC State, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech needs it.
Well, the only thing I'm going to say is Virginia Tech's 4-1 at home. This is at home. I'm going VT. Big win.
I want to know, is this a night game? Because that makes a big difference at Virginia Tech, too.
Well, I'd tell you, but I don't think we got no Wi-Fi, do we?
It's all good. Oh, Lord. See if you can bait me, Coach.
I'm going to go with my heart on this one, and I'm going with Virginia Tech.
I'm going with the home team, too. Let's go, Hokies. Well, NC State's going to win that one now for sure. Georgia, Tennessee.
I don't think there's no question in this. Bulldogs all the way.
I thought you was fixing to take the ball.
Oh, yeah. I got Georgia, too.
They've got
Yeah, I'm going Georgia. There's no.
So what are you sitting over there thinking about?
They've got that number 1 for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after the performance last week. Tennessee could not match that physicality that Missouri brought in there, and they're definitely not going to match up with Georgia at all with it, I don't think. This is going to be a long night for them. Washington and Oregon State. This could be a...
This is the one you need to coin on right here.
Yes. This could be an upset game, as far as...
I'm going Washington.
Washington's undefeated, and I don't think Oregon's going to get them yet.
I'm going with my boy Penix, too. But, boys, don't be surprised on this one right here if Oregon State don't pull this one off.
That's kind of like going back to Florida State. You know, I thought Miami or Florida Gators is going to be the tricky game for them. One of them two could slip up and get them, and they've got past one now. They still got one more to go.
Yeah, man. All right. We're going to round up the college football right there. We're going to head over here and pick your brain a little bit, Coach, if that's all right, buddy.
Absolutely.
Coach, again, we thank you for joining us on the podcast. And what a turnaround since you have taken the job here at Cove. And tell us about how it all transpired and what led you to come down and take the program over.
Well, just being hungry to get back into coaching. You know, I coached at Gate City several years, and got very fortunate to coach my sons through school, and left after Coach Akers' first year, and finished out my law enforcement career and retired a couple years ago, and was just real hungry to get back in coaching. First contact here at Cove was my college roommate, Mark Rollins, who played here and had a good career here, and they still tease me about it a little bit because I was asked if I was interested in coaching, and the way they tell it, my answer was, well, let me think about it, yes. so I was hungry. You know, you'd think if you get an offer like this to come to a high school that you would sit down and maybe pull up the roster and pull up who they've got here and who they've played. I did none of that. I just know I wanted to get back into coaching. And that's kind of what started everything.
Yeah, man. Well, you took over. They was coming off of a season where they had canceled the season before, the year before. And, you know, I think mostly due to not even having enough kids to play, you know, and come out. I mean, how do you come in and get the kids to come back out and play after, you know, a canceled season? I know, like, there's several schools that's done that, and it's kind of hard to get it back rolling again. And not only did you get it back rolling again, but you came in and I mean, you took them to the playoffs about 2 years in a row.
Well, once again, not only was the kids hungry for something, some kind of change or something different, the school was, the community was, like I said, I was. I think it just started with encouragement. We put together a staff that's unbelievable. A lot of knowledge, 2 former head coaches. We got 4 Emory and Henry guys that I played with. I think they just believed in what we were teaching. A lot of encouragement, and it goes beyond football. We were there for the kids, and a lot of walking the halls. And hey, what do you do? Have you ever played before? And they bought in quickly, and that's what changed. I think we got in the weight room and they could see that we had some knowledge in there and then see the results that was going on, and it just started spreading to the other kids, you know.
Man, that's awesome. Well, I remember, like, when you first come down, you towed the vacuum cleaner deal, and I'd really like for you to tell that story if you don't mind.
Well, you know, like I said, it goes beyond football, and we teach the little things. There's a saying that we say all the time here that, you know, you do the little things right, the big things take care of themselves.
Right.
And that's kind of like Fred Self from Emory and Henry. If you remember the late Fred Self, what a great man, and some of the things he taught me there. And if you're doing the little things right, the big things take care of themselves. And we was in the office one day, and after I'd pulled a vacuum cleaner out and just plugged it in and set it in the middle of the locker room, and I was telling some of the coaches in there, we'll know we're doing something right when you hear that vacuum cleaner start by itself. And it wasn't a minute later, it started. And I just walked over there and peeked in. We had a player just pick it up and start vacuuming on their own. You know, they do that all the time now. You know, I did things like leave a can or something laying in the middle of the floor. When they first started coming here, they'd walk right over it. Now, no matter whose it is, they'll pick it up. I mean, that sounds like little petty stuff, but the little things, when you start doing those things right, doing things right at home, things right in the classroom, making good decisions, and it takes care of a lot of other things.
Absolutely, man. And I think that's like some of the best things ever, dude. It's just like awesome. All right, what was the key to getting the kids to respond and getting the community to rally around the program? I know you spoke a little bit on this already, but I mean, it goes beyond the kids too. And I mean, the community they've really jumped in. I know you said they was hungry, but I mean, man, they've.
Listen, it is unbelievable what the support we have here, and if you ain't spent a Friday night here at Rye Cove, here at the Nest, you're missing something, because everybody's so encouraging. I think, like I said, I think they were hungry. We're 2 and 3 deep on the fences now. They're loud, they're proud. A lot of it goes back to the kids, when I'm sure when they go home, when we first got here, what's your new coach like, what's your coaching staff like, and they start saying that positive stuff, and they buy into it too. And I want to go back to last year. We played Hurley game 1, hadn't won a game in years. They bought into what we've taught and what we were doing. I'll never forget it. We played well that night. We cut it within a touchdown, I think 6 points in the late 7 minutes to go in the game, and they run the kickoff back. So now we're down 2 touchdowns with 7 minutes to go. And I remember looking at them, I said, guys, don't worry, we're going to score 2 touchdowns and win this. We fumbled the next play, fumbled it back to them. And I'm okay. But then they gave it back to us, and we scored 2 touchdowns and win the game. So that, when they start believing, we preach, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to teach, we're going to be successful. And I don't think we have the season we had last year if we don't win that ball game the way we won it.
I believe that as well. I'm saying, like, we're going to get the ball back, we're going to win this, don't worry. I've heard Shannon Boyd several times when I'd take him, to some basketball camps and stuff, and his kid would be ready to get on the free throw line. He goes, when you make this, this is what we're doing, and I'm like, every time that kid would go out there, and I swear he would make that shot, he's like, man, you got to let them know, hey, you trust in them and believe in them, and everything. Little things like that do make a huge difference. Your first season in, and you lead them to a winning record and take them to the playoffs. What do you feel was the biggest key to making this happen?
Just like I go back to encouragement, letting the kids know we care about them other than football. I'm going to go to my coaching staff. I mean, you got B.I. Sayers, the former head coach, defensive coordinator at Dobbins Bending, comes over. Coach Robbie Norris, he was at North for years, AD at North, coach at North, offensive coordinator at Westridge. And then these kids see what we bring in here and all the knowledge, and they just started believing in what we were doing. And then what we preached to them and what we taught them, what we said, starts happening. So it was just a belief thing. These kids were hungry, like I've said, and the community was hungry. It fell into place. I still go back to that Hurley game. I don't think we win the Thomas Walker game in overtime if we had won the Hurley game. So we had a lot of firsts last year, and one of our goals was, to, of course, win the district. That's everybody's goal. We ended up tying for it and sharing it, and we had a home playoff game. Huge for what they had been through.
Yeah.
And then, our goal is this year to improve on that, and we've done that so far.
Before last year, how long had it been since they had actually been in the playoffs,
I don't know. Somebody mentioned the other day that maybe our last playoff win may have been 2004, but I hadn't researched it to know, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, and I mean, for them to be here right now, I know this community is like super ecstatic for it. Landon Lane, let's talk about your motor here a little bit.
Yeah,
everybody knows that this is the motor to the team, and tell us a little bit about Landon and what he brings to the team.
Well, Landon's one of our captains. Was one of our captains last year. He is our leader. We go as he goes. I think you remember when I was at Gate City. He reminds me a lot of my son, Hunter, when he played at Gate City. He plays a lot like him. He is just hard-nosed, tougher than nails, leads by example more than he does with his, verbally with his mouth. But great runner, strong legs, throws the ball well. We've come a long way with that. You got to remember when I came here, there wasn't anybody here that ever took a snap under center. And they run the single wing stuff, but he has worked hard. He throws well now. His decision making is so much better. But he is our leader. He's our go-to guy, and man, he's a tough kid.
You know, what I notice about him is, I mean, he don't get too excited. I mean, he just stays so chill. He stays so calm in the, you know, the tough situations. He just stays calm and just plays his game.
You know, we've talked about that a little bit. He's not one of those guys that jumps around and bangs his head on the wall and plays that way. He's got to stay level-headed, and that's just him. That's nothing that we've taught him. He's that type of guy that knows he's got to, you know, be in the moment and stay calm.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Mr. Rollins here. He's been a big-time player for you guys as well, hasn't he?
He has, and, you know, we can talk about Landon and all that stuff, but the guy right in front of him that blocks for him all the time is Will. And, man, what a great kid, too. He's spent a lot of time in the weight room if you look at him.
Yeah.
Both sides of the ball, he is really good for us. He's our bulldozer on offense, and our linebackers having a great year. That's you can really tell that 1 year of experience last year really has helped him so much.
Yes, he's a sophomore?
He's a sophomore, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Landon's a junior, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're pretty much bringing back nearly just about the whole team.
Well, we've got some key players coming back. We lose a couple of key players too, and Logan Barnett and Peyton Darnell, a couple of our skill guys. Cody Mead on the line. So we lose some real key players. We got a lot coming back too.
Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the other guys and how they've stepped up as leaders to help bring success?
Yeah, Logan Barnett's a senior. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's the one that got hurt and had med flighted out of here.
Okay, number 11.
Yes, he actually broke his a rib near his spine. We were open 1 week, so he only missed 1 game. Tough as nails, but on the weighs $130. Great player for us. Peyton Darnell, running back, who stayed injured every year. My understanding, he was beat up. He didn't even get to play in the playoffs last year and just beat up. But he's back, and he's got 7 touchdowns and almost 600 yards rushing. And then, of course, we can talk about these skill guys all we want and our quarterback, but it starts up front. And a full year in the weight room. Just come watch us. Look out there on the side. We got some good size. We got Trevor Darnell, who's a all-district player last year, playing guard for us. Cody's on the other side, Cody Mead, and Jay Bowen, an unselfish player. He's a 4-year player here, and was a tight end last year. We were missing a little bit on the line this year, and he kind of volunteered to go to tackle for us. Doing well at tackle, and of course, if you kept up with us at all, we got the big freshman who's already got some offers, and Ethan Lawson, 6'6", 300 pounds. Yeah. Works really hard, good work ethic. So we're excited about what he's going to bring, the rest of this year and the next 3 years for us.
Yeah, I've watched him. We came to the Twin Springs game that you guys played, and then we came to Eastside game this past week, and I watched him a little bit. I mean, what he's doing already is just crazy. But I think once he really grows into his body, he's going to be really scary, man.
Listen, he's working really hard, and you can still tell he's young. Grew up a little bit this week at halftime. I seen some things at halftime of the Eastside game last week that really impressed me. That he was trying to figure out what was going wrong. He just wasn't sitting there on his hands wondering. He was talking to the other linemen. Some good leadership stuff I seen at his young age.
Man, that does make you feel good about the future.
And I think that's 3 keys to success. What you've talked about, Coach, is just discipline, unselfishness, and playing for each other.
Absolutely.
And you've got to have that on a winning program.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Eastside comes in and gives you guys a big scare in round 1. Can you tell us about this game and how your kids responded when the opportunity presented itself?
Well, you're talking to an offensive mind here. We're averaging 44 points a game, and I look up about 5 minutes ago in the third quarter, and we're still laying a goose egg.
Yeah.
Coach Rose and he's got them bunch playing so hard, and they're young, and I know everybody wants to look at the future, and it's going to be us and them the next few years, and not leaving anybody else out. I know Keith and everybody else and Tanner will have everybody working hard, but they come in here ready to play. And, you know, I've bragged all year long about our up front guys and how strong we were. I just got done telling you the same things. They put it to us. They absolutely beat us up front the first half. You know, we were driving second quarter there, I think it was, when we turned the ball over, and then they score on the last play of the half. I think if we don't turn the ball over, we probably score there. Who knows if they do? It may have been a different game. But listen, they come out and they popped us in the mouth, to be honest with you, and played hard. And we come in here at halftime, and basically we just challenged them. You know, it's going to come down to who's going to win that battle up front. What are we going to do? And we come out the second half, made a few adjustments, but it was a good ball game, real good ball game. I think that snap over the head punt, over the head of the punter, really made the difference, turning the game. And then, you know, a couple of kicking out of bounds after that. We got the ball on the 29-yard line to start the drive, so it helped a lot.
That's one thing that I thought was just really pivotal in the game there, you know, and I was just wondering why they wasn't calling a timeout, because they got that young team, and I'm like, look, it's just 2 points, you know, let's call a timeout, chill them down, say, look, man, you're still ahead, let's play ball. But,
what a lot of people don't notice, if you watch, we're fortunate enough to watch film on that, is it actually was a fake punt.
Oh, I did see it, because they snapped it over Atkins' head.
Yeah, I snapped it over the blocking back's head, and I guess fortunately for us, it looked like it was going to work. They had somebody open on the play too, so something else for us to work on.
Yeah, it's like I told Kermit, I was like, man, this whole game they've snapped this ball high, and I said I do not like this situation that they're in right now. And I mean, the best thing that could have came out of that for them was the safety, you know. And I was like, phew. And then I was like, man, they was faking that.
Yeah,
because it went right over his head. Well, by winning this game, Coach, and Twin Springs winning, it has set up the Scott County Bowl number 2. Is this the game? Is this a game you really wanted to play again this soon?
Well, I'll say this: you don't want to. It's hard to play people twice.
Oh, it is.
3 times, 4 times in other sports. I've seen. I think girls basketball. I've seen a team win 4 or 5 times, then lose state championships to the same team. So you don't want to play these teams twice. Keith's done a fantastic job and got them ready, and everybody thought they were going to be down this year. He's got them playing for him and playing what he's done since he's been there. You know, it is what it is on who we play. We can't control that. Yeah. All the thing I can tell you is it should be another slobber knocker, and we'll be ready, and we won't be hard to find. Yeah,
man. I tell you, man, your fans here, they love this. They love this Scott County Bowl thing. I mean, it's they blow our page up like crazy on this and everything. Can you give us 3 keys to get that you think that's going to be pretty big this week to pull this win off?
Well, of course, the first key I always talk about is turnovers. You know, the mistakes we make and turning the ball over. I think the team that turns it over the less is going to have an advantage. You know, looking ahead, I always look ahead for the weather, and we're supposed to get a little bit of rain because that may change too. So, you know, turnovers is the biggest thing. Defensively, our gap assignments, our keys. That's where we got to be. They run that Veer offense so well. He does a good job of reading it, and you know, last time we played him, we did a pretty decent job on. I think they had one long run from the quarterback, and we missed him once, and then somebody, you know, wasn't where they're supposed to be. So that's going to be the key to it. You know, if we got to be physical. We can't turn the ball over, and we got to do what we do on defense. And our defense has played pretty well this year with I can't remember now 5 or 6 shutouts.
Yeah, it's been very good defense that you guys had this year. That's for sure. Well, Coach, is there anything you'd like to tell the Cove Rowdies about this week and encouraging them? I know you don't really have to encourage them too much.
I don't really have to say a whole lot, but I do want them to know how much we appreciate these kids. They absolutely love it, and being them guys being out there for the kids and this program and this community and school and everything. Just keep doing what they're doing, get a little bit louder each week, and we'll try to keep this thing rolling as long as we can.
All right, man. Well, with that being said, we're going to get into the 1D here, the rundown of it and everything, and just kind of give out some scores for those that may not have heard them. But Honeacre 30, Rural Retreat 15. Honeacre had to have a big meeting at halftime, too, to come back and pull this out because Rural Retreat was...
Was they up 15-0 at half?
I'm not sure if it was 15. You know, it wasn't 15 to, it was like
15 to 6 or something, 15 to 6, I believe.
Yeah, and then, but Honeacre came out and scored 15 straight unanswered points out of halftime.
This is the ball game I said Honeacre didn't want to see again. Not after what Rural Retreat done to them, and then they come out and put up 15 on them. You know, Honeacre going into halftime, they're feeling it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Their fan base is really feeling it at halftime. I mean, you got to be sick to your stomach, and then Honeacre comes out and they really turn it on.
Well, Patrick Henry 49, Grundy 8. Patrick Henry had some redemption on their mind in this one, and what I was going to tell you right now, Patrick Henry's playing some daggone good football right now when it counts, and the good speed guy is flat running the ball, man.
They're dangerous. Patrick Henry's a dangerous football team.
Very dangerous guy.
Got a big line, big boys. That little guy, man, you don't know where he's going to pop out from. It's hard to get a read on him.
They hide him good.
Yeah.
And then, man,
Yeah, it's no surprise he's getting the football neither.
Yeah.
He's close to 40 carries a game, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you know where the ball's going. You just don't know where it's going.
I was actually surprised when Grundy had beat them in the regular season. I think that's kind of when Grundy started turning their season around.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had Ryco 15, Eastside 6. I mean, it was a lot closer game than that. And that
What do you mean, like closer game? That's pretty close, huh?
Honestly, I thought it was going to be I really felt like it was fixing to be a baseball score, 6-2. Oh goodness! Twin Springs 28, Chilhowie 21. Twin Springs had to score late in the game to tie it up at 21, and then they held on to send it to overtime, and they got the ball first, scored, of course, first in overtime, and went up 28-21. Chilhowie just couldn't get it done. I'm telling you, Twin Springs defense flat played some ball right there in that overtime.
And I tell you, Keith and them dodged the bullet because right before halftime, when Chilhowie scored, they kicked off, and then I think the very next play, Twin Springs fumbled the ball down there with about 9 seconds left and give Chilhowie the ball right back. And I think they dodged a big bullet right there going into halftime.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to score, and then they missed the field goal there at halftime.
Yeah. So this very well could have been different, as well. So, all right, Region 2D, first round. Gate City was 28, Marion 14. Kermit, I'm a little biased here, so I'm going to let you start first.
Well, this has been one awesome week. 3 days, 3 playoff games. Me and Aaron went to the Gate City Marion game, and my honest thoughts on it was, man, Marion kind of dominated the first quarter, and I started getting a feeling like, man, is Gate City going to lose this thing? And then within about 6 minutes in the second quarter, Gate City finally drove down and scored, got another quick stop, and turned it around and scored again. And it was like you could actually start breathing a little bit then. And but I'm telling you, Gate City, from the rest of the game, they pretty much controlled and dominated the rest of the game, and there was some pretty good hits in this game. There was about 3 really big hits in this game.
I just wasn't sure how many possessions Gate City was going to get, and they was going to need to take advantage to every one they did get, because Marion was definitely controlling the clock.
They about run the whole clock off the first quarter. It was going pretty quick.
And hadn't went nowhere. I don't know how they done it, not go nowhere.
The thing that really shocked me about Marion, though, is they will not throw the ball. They was 3 minutes left. Gate City's ahead by 2 touchdowns. You've got to start throwing the ball, and they will not throw the ball. They live and die by the run.
They's living and dying.
You got to think 2 scores there, and not to put it up in that situation. It's kind of crazy. I went to college with Marion's coach, Coach Ginn, and I don't know. Kudos to him for his game plan, because I guess his thoughts is Gate City can't score if they don't have the football.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like kind of like Georgia Tech, with Paul Johnson. If you're ahead, that offense is fine. But when you get behind and the only pass they got is the screenplay, they was hurting.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes the screenplay can go a long way. So.
That's the only play you have. It may not work.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe that's the only 2 passes they threw, wasn't it? 2 screenplays.
I believe it was. And that's the first 2 passes they thrown in like 3 weeks. Unreal. All right, Graham 56, Lee 14. This game couldn't have started any worse for Lehigh. They come out and turn the ball over. Graham throws 1 pass for a touchdown. Kick off to him. Lee fumbles the kickoff. Graham's up 14-0, just like that. In a minute and a half, they're up 14-0. And it was just practically downhill from our Clements, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Their Graham's running back. He had himself a big game in this one.
That number 5 is good, buddy. And I tell you, Graham, they're all about the quick starts. To beat Graham, you've got to slow them down that first quarter and get the game under control, because, man, if you let them score early on you, they just seem like they just keep putting it on you.
Yeah, and playing a team like that, you can't turn the ball over. We talked about turnovers a while ago, and they turn it over the first 2 times so quick.
Yeah, you can't afford any kind of mistake against a team like Graham. Tazewell 54, Ridgeview 18. Honestly, I felt like Ridgeview played the first quarter really good. I thought they're going to make a game of this. But Creasy ended up with 436 passing yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. That kid can flat throw the football. And I don't understand it, but he had guys running wide open all night long. So, did you watch any of that one?
Yeah, I went back and watched some of it, and I think some of the guys out there changed jersey numbers to I don't know what for, but Ridgeview, I thought Ridgeview done pretty good in the first quarter against Tazewell, and then after the first quarter they let them hit them with that long bomb, and then the very next possession, Ridgeview throw the first pass, throw the screen, guy intercepts it, takes it all the way back to the house, and from there on, it seemed like Ridgeview was in trouble.
That's where they built the snowball at on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see any of it. Did the quarterback play? He didn't play, did he?
Ridgeview's no.
Yeah,
It was on their backup guy.
Yeah.
He actually had some in the first quarter. I mean, he threw some pretty good balls.
He throwed a nice touchdown right between 2 defenders there to bring Ridgeview back within a score, but you know, it was all downhill from there pretty much.
It was 14-6 at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They brought it back 14-6. Union 34, Virginia High 6. I think the youth of Virginia High took over on them on this one myself. Their defense was scrappy, man, and they probably have the best defensive backfield I've seen. I mean, they're fast and they can close. They love to bait a quarterback, man. You'll think he's open, and next thing you know, there's somebody there.
Oh yeah, their secondary's fast.
So they had one pick, and they almost had 3 that they just dropped.
Was it 1 or 2 picks?
I don't know. Oh, it was 2.
I think it's 2, but now one of them was way underthrown, and it was one of them ducks, and I don't know if somebody hit Rayshon's arm or not, but it was just one of them ducks, and that boy come up and just dove and got right up under it.
I think one of the most impressive ones was the defensive end.
Yeah.
Like, he used about a 46-inch vertical and went straight up and one-handed that ball. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if looks was everything, that's the biggest team I believe I've seen all year. They got some brutes, and their secondary, like you saying, that them boys can fly. And I think they got 2 freshmen, number 2 and number 1, both freshmen.
They're a pretty young team all the way around.
They've always had a ton of athletes.
Oh yeah. Yep, year in year. I mean, Union, I know the score looks 34-6. Some might think that was it, but I mean, Union had to work for it. They really did. I mean, Virginia High, hats off to them. They really made them work for it. They just didn't have no offensive production, and I think the defense was on the field way too long, and they got tired. And Union was just wearing them down too with that big offensive line, and they just couldn't handle it no more. All right, Region 1D and 2D semifinal picks. We're going to start out in 2D. Coach, you can pick in that one if you want.
Yeah, I will.
We got number 3, Gate City. We'll be traveling to number 2, Graham. It's going to be a big test going all the way to Bluefield. Kermit, you go ahead and go first, bro.
You're going to make me go first on this. I tell you, I'd love to see Gate City go up there and put it on Graham. I think Gate City is going to give them a whole lot better ball game than what Lee did. Graham's offense is just so explosive that they can. I mean, you can hold them for 2 quarters, and then all of a sudden they put up 3 scores on you in a heartbeat. And I just don't think Gate City is going to have enough to do it, but I'd love to see it.
With that being said, you're going the Graham G-Man, right?
Yeah, man.
Coach, you want to go next?
Yeah. I don't want to, but yeah, that's it. I'm going.
You know, if you're sitting here as a coach or a fan, you don't want to go to Graham. You don't want to go up there and play them. And on paper, you're thinking, well, they're, as good as they are, and all the athletes and how well they're playing. But I got a little personal knowledge with how Gate City prepares and Coach Housewright and things they do. And hey, listen, I'm not going to count Gate City out. It's going to be a tough task for them. Maybe a little bit of weather may help their situation. I'm not sure, but believe it or not, I'm going to go with Gate City.
That's my man right there, son.
Hey, I know them guys. I know how Jeremy prepares and the stuff he does and the people around him. I got a little bit of confidence in them. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, man. Well, first thing for them to do is they have to believe that they can go up there and win that ball game. And I'm going to let the believing start with me and Coach Collier right here, and we're going to both go with the Gate City Blue Devils in this one.
I like Luke Bledsoe's a tough-nosed kid, and I really like him.
Yeah, man. Number 4, Tazewell at number 1, Union. I should be honest with you. This could end up being a very good ball game right here. Golly. I'm going to go with the Union Bears, but I think Tazewell does make it. I think Tazewell makes it an interesting game.
Yeah, Tazewell's kind of scary if you think about it and how they're playing. They're playing well, but I also know Coach Turner and how Union plays, and they're playing well all year long. But 1 loss right to Science Hill. And I got to go with Union too.
Man, I went back and looked at some Tazewell's ball games. Virginia High played a close ball game with Graham. Tazewell blows Virginia High out. But then the other games, they're just a Jack-on-Hyde team, and you don't know which one's going to show up. But you know me, I've got to go with them Bears. I ain't going to pick against them.
You better not, because you'll be sleeping on the boards. All right. Number 4, Patrick Henry. At number 1, Honaker. I'm pretty sure Coach is out on these two. He's probably going to be like Coach Rhodes.
I can brag on both of them, but I'm not.
Are you
I'm
good?
not giving the locker room material for anybody. I promise you that.
I tell you what, this I watched this last ball game when them two played, and I know Patrick Henry. They had the weather in their favor because they're a running team, and that's why they probably didn't change that ball game. That's smart thinking on the coach there, and man, they took Honaker right down to the wire, and if it wasn't for one fumble right at the end of it, Honaker may have lost that game. And but I don't know what the weather's going to be like. But like I said, Honaker just seems like they find ways to win games, whether it's offensively, defensively, just whatever it takes. They find ways to win games. I believe I'm gonna have to go with Honaker in this one.
I'm with you, Kermit. I think I really feel like not. I'm just kidding, son. There's a certain guy that plays for the number 4, Patrick Henry guy, and I believe his last name is Good Speed. He does have speed. I think he has some power too. And the last game was at Patrick Henry. This time it's going to be at Honaker. It's going to be on that nice turf field where his good speed's going to be a good speed, my friend. And I'm going with the Patrick Henry Rebels in this one.
Ooh,
Hey, they both do what they do really, really well. Honaker throws it. That quarterback can spin it. And then on the flip side, they're big up front. Patrick Henry's big, and run gets behind him. It ought to be a good game.
And, man, Honaker's had Rural Treat 2 weeks in a row. And, I mean, I think they probably a little more beat up right now.
I've said it all along. I think in this Division One, they ain't no number 1, number 8. They're all about the same. You just put them in there and let them go at it. It's been great ball games so far, and I think it's going to keep on being great ball games.
All right, and the one that everybody's been waiting on right here. All the Cove Rowdies and all the Big Red Nation up there in Nicholsville. We got the number 3 Twin Springs Titans, and they're coming this time to the number 2 Cove War Eagles. And this is the Scott County Bowl number 2. Kermit, I'm going to start with you, buddy.
Well, first of all, I agree with Coach. Ain't nothing worse than playing the same team twice, and because they're gonna come back wanting some revenge, and they'll have a little more mustard on it when they come. And but now I picked Twin Springs last time, and it burnt me, so I'm gonna have to go Cove this time.
You got a coin?
We ain't flipping no coin.
Man.
I got a double-headed corn. Call heads.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, listen, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. I like clicks on my page, and I'm going to get these I'm going to fire the Cove Rowdies up, and I'm going to go with the Twin Springs Titans in this one right here, and I expect a lot of comments on my page, son. Yeah.
I say you're going to get burned up.
Yeah, they're going to burn me up right here.
You might get hurt before you leave the field.
Oh, man, I got thread. So you want to go back to the Gate City Graham game now? No, I think it's going to be a great game. It was the last time, and I mean, honestly, this game can go either way. I think it is a toss-up. I think it'll be, it could be closer than the last one. Of course, I really felt like that snap over the punter's head in that game also was what really flipped and got the spread out on them and everything. And it could have very well been a little worse because you guys had the opportunity right before half, and they stood tall right there. What was you on the 1 yard line?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, if I'm a betting man and I'm on the 1 yard line and Lane's getting in, and man, they stepped up.
They did. They did. They're tough.
There's not many people that's going to stop that, and them guys really come through. And I mean, it's going to be a good game, and so we're all excited about it. And we're going to be right here at the Eagles Nest because I tell you right now that y'all have the best concession stand. That we've got that Screaming Eagle out there, man. I'm coming for 2 of them. I said, man, that thing's $6. I'd pay it over and over. So I'm bringing at least $12 because I'm getting 2 of them this time. But, Coach, thanks again. We really appreciate you for coming on the podcast with us. We know that, especially this time of year, it's busy for you, trying to prepare and everything. And so we do appreciate you taking the time to come on and being with us on this podcast. And we'd like to wish you guys luck and this week and all that good stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here and everything you all do for these kids in Southwest Virginia and giving them a shout out and kudos to the players and the coaches and everything you do. We really appreciate it. I just invite everybody to come out and enjoy it. We're playing Friday night at 7, so come out to the Eagles Nest and let's go to war.
It's going to be the best $8 they've spent.
Absolutely.
I would say bring 8, 12, that's 20. What would that be?
You
20.
better get something to drink, too.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, bring about $25 with you and enjoy an Eagles Nest or Screaming Eagle, whatever it's called, man. Because I'm telling you. But Kermit, you got anything else before we leave?
I'm just pumped up and excited. 2 days, 2 ball games. I love this Friday and Saturday ball games. I'm getting my full of it right now.
All right, man. With that being said, we'll catch you on the next time. Peace.